There's a war going on, the books can't escape from the team. Call the morning steam, it's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
And a pleasant good morning to you coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show here for Sunday, January 18th. We're going to try to follow up yesterday with some fun today. Hopefully a little bit better than that late game last night. Hopefully you were joining us on the live stream. I think we had more fun than watching the game there by the second half, but still, we did have a fun time last night with the game between the Denver Broncos and their win there yesterday. Oh, well, I should mention, I guess, the nightcap, of course, with the Seattle Seahawks with the convincing win there yesterday over the 49ers. Almost want to talk about the Bills with the situation there with Bo Nix, but we were here last night. 41-6 wasn't much of a game. Hey, I had the need for Shaheed with running back the kickoff. Rashid Shaheed, my man from Mount Carmel High School in San Diego, with that kickoff return for a touchdown. Seattle had 34 points on their first 7 drives, and San Francisco turned it over on their first 2 drives and put the game pretty much out of reach by halftime. Seahawks have won 11 of their last 12 home playoff games. Darnold made it through the game. We won't get stuck with Drew Lock again. Maybe we were talking about getting a Drew Lock in there in the Super Bowl against Stidham if they would win another game or something like that. But Josh Allen, great game for him in that Broncos-Bills game as well. But, man, Josh Allen's 0-7 in overtime games in his career. That's kind of weird. You'd think he'd be Mr. Clutch in that type of scenario. But the Broncos advance to the AFC title game next week at home. We saw some look-ahead lines, but we'll see who the opponent is after today's game between the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans. The early start, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And then we'll be with you again at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific for live companion stream coverage of the Rams and the Bears today from frigid Soldier Field. So you want to be joining us then, so we'll have a good time here tonight. And by the end of the game, we'll know what the line is for those championship games next week on Sunday. We do know that the Denver game will be the early game there at 3 Eastern and noon Pacific, and Seattle will be the late game, 6:30 Eastern and 3:30 Pacific time. Those teams, of course, hosting the championship games as the number 1 seeds. But we'll have to see. After the news that Bo Nix broke his ankle, we were on the air, and I wasn't sure I wanted to say it because I couldn't believe it at first. And Jarrett Stidham, we know Jarrett Stidham's been a starter in the NFL before. He started 4 games in his career. He's been around for a few years, that's for sure. So, Denver doesn't need to go, even though people are making fun of me for throwing out some names here. But look, he's the man for Denver, and that's the way Peyton's always going to run it. You guys were right on that. Just trying to make a story out of it. But the real story is, how does, a bizarre injury like a broken ankle like that, we're able to walk it off, in a way that's weird. And you hear so many stories nowadays of guys who are able to, have a surgery one day and then play like a hand surgery or something, like remember with Herbert, he had a hand surgery and was able to play the next week. And so you wonder when he walked off the field why you couldn't be able to just play on something like that. I don't know. Broken ankle's a broken ankle. So, I mean, and they talked about the play. Which play was it? I mean, the second play from the last play of the game was the kneel down play. That one looked pretty non-suspect. The one where he rolled to the left and got tackled looked a little bit more, maybe it was kind of an accumulation of things, but just seems bizarre that he won't be able to make the game. Look, I'm sure he's really bummed about it, so I'm not saying that he couldn't play or something like that. And you just, when you got something broken, I mean, you can't go on usually, but, you wonder, and a foot, maybe something different than a hand. So it's really a bummer for Bo Nix, man. The guy's been already kind of, ridden by the public as not a capable guy, but he certainly has done a pretty good job. And so Stidham will be the first quarterback in the last 60 years to start a conference championship game without having thrown a pass up to that point in the season. Allen made the mistakes there. It's hard to blame Josh Allen. He probably technically lost the game for the Bills because of his aggressive play from his coach as well. But the 10 points there in the last 22 seconds of the first half to make it 20-10 did make it a little bit more difficult. But Buffalo still, able to get a 50-yard field goal with 5 seconds left to force overtime. Broncos drove 75 yards before they kicked the game-winning field goal on that other possession. So it will be the Broncos advancing. Just a strange game, certainly the way it kind of played out there. But I was on the under. Where the Broncos defense go? I touted them as a near historic defense with some of the things they've done, and Bills just kind of carved them up. Bills carved them up without much. Cook was cooking early. And still, the Bills, like I said, I thought they'd go away from the run. They kind of did. Didn't matter. They needed to. But Buffalo falls to the Broncos 33-30 in overtime. And then for the Seahawks, what can you say when the 49ers pretty much just gave away? All those injuries did pile up, I guess, in the end for the 49ers. And it kept going, right? McCaffrey looked like he busted his shoulder in the game. Tonjes, Kittle's backup, a non-contact injury, did kind of run around there a little bit, but he was never really going to come back either. So they really just didn't have the personnel there at the end of the game for the Seahawks. Let me say hello to the folks in the chat, get the show going. Not much of a show in terms of length today. We've got our 2 football games. We've got 6 in the NBA, 3 in the NHL. We'll look at 4 basketball games on the abbreviated college slate here on Sunday. So hello to folks in the chat. Let's say hello to Blake. He's here, ready to go today. Parma Jake is ready. Mike Humphrey, there he is. Hello as well. Also, Robert McCormick is here. Jim Duweiger, Public Enemy, joins us today. Greg told us that Seattle game could get ugly. Hello to Ziggy in the chat today. And also Fernando here. Fernando, thank you for your support of me here on the Sports Money Network. He said the Warriors, man, how about some of those results yesterday in the NBA? We did have a pretty strong day with the NBA and NHL here on the Sports Money, on the Morning Steam show yesterday. We rolled a bunch of winners here, including in the NBA. We had the Phoenix Suns there on the road against the New York Knicks for a morning steam winner. Also, Pacers and Pistons game to go under was our morning steam winner. Also, we had the Miami Heat plus the points there against the Thunder. Thunder continue to have some struggles here a little bit, but also Wizards and Nuggets game to go over. And we had the Portland Trailblazers yesterday. So, good day yesterday there in the NBA. Pretty decent day anyway here. Fernando, he's talking a little Bundesliga action here with us right now. I'm watching action from England and also from Italy as well this morning. Also, we had Australian Open underway yesterday. I didn't open my card with so much college basketball, but we'll be doing so today as we continue with action in the first round. Some pretty good matches there yesterday, including some 3 and 5 setters on the courts there at the Australian Open. And Ziggy, no doubt about it. I mean, look, the headline for most people is, Broncos win, Bo Nix is out, and, Stidham's the quarterback in trouble. But the headlines at the Buffalo News, and for those folks, those Bills fans are going to be the disputed interception, the other 2 calls, the pass interference calls as well. They're both a little bit sus. You know what? You could argue that, those are the ones that are kind of called in the middle of the game. You just don't want to see the big game decided by the referee calls, but they don't care. They love the attention. Let's see here. Kirk to go over today, says Toucan. And a little more of the soccer action here this morning. We already saw a thriller between Genoa and Parma, 0-0 draw today there. And in the Bundesliga right now, Berlin and Stuttgart, no score. They're also a game in France right now with Metz and Strasbourg, and it's 1-1. You can kind of keep the scores up behind me. You can watch the scores float by my head there sometimes when I'm not sticking my big old head in there. And Greg says Denver might be done. No, they're not done. They're going to the AFC Championship game, and they'll have Stidham in there as their quarterback. Kane says it's a me against the world attitude. Hello to Andrew Kane as well here. And Greg says Patriots in Seattle to go to the Super Bowl. Houston might have something to say about that. And then, of course, you got to worry about the winner of the game between the Rams and the Bears today. Thank you to everyone in the comments in the chat. Nuke's ready to move on, but Nuke's always ready to move on to the next one. The Bills fans, of course, MMA Jeff, our co-anchor on the shows, he also was a little bit just, not even defiant about the trouble of the situation. Bills fans felt like, like I said, I don't think the goal right now for the Buffalo Bills is always to win the Super Bowl, but they knew what they were dealing with this year, I think, with that lineup a little bit, that they weren't putting out the best team in the league or anything. But, when you got Josh Allen, I mean, anything's possible, and it was in that game. And so what I wanted to conclude about with Josh Allen, right, this man really took it hard on himself because of, the way they lost. And did Josh Allen make some big mistakes? He certainly did. And that's the way Josh Allen plays it. He's he's going to go for it every time, go for the gusto every time. That's what makes him so great. That's what makes him, one of the best players in the league, MVP candidate every year. Did he cost him the game in a way? Yeah, but that's because so much is put on Josh Allen to cover it. Because look, we talked about the Bills, this receiving core. It's not A1. It's not top notch. It's not the best receiving core. If anything, they had another pretty good day there for the Bills yesterday, and Cook did too. But just overall, I think they feel like they still had a pretty okay season. They're going to a beautiful new stadium next year. And I think the Bills are going to be putting their chips on the table next season with opening a new stadium. Maybe we will see them actually add some real complementary pieces to that offense. So that's what they need. I said to Jeff, the Bills, what they need is a true number one receiver, a guy we saw on like some of the other teams yesterday, or a guy like a Puka Nacua, a real number one. Hey, Shakir was awesome, no doubt about it. Doesn't put the fear into you about the big play strike ability there. Okay, let's continue and get ready for the show today, because we got a good one, and it won't be very long. Hey, everyone, like this video, subscribe to our channel, Sports Money, here on YouTube, fastest growing sports betting channel on YouTube. James Parm, and Bo Nix, the touchdowns again. I mean, the interceptions again there. Greg loves that Seattle defense. And Greg says Kentucky made a great comeback. Hey, we had some winners. Big college card yesterday and some great games too. Kept me busy all day. North Carolina lost to Cal. Cal led at halftime by 17, continued on for the win there yesterday behind Justin Pippen's 19 points. The Tar Heels 0-3 in ACC road games with that terrible defense right now. Carolina is just not even close to Carolina standard. Purdue got USC. We had USC here yesterday, obviously, and USC took the lead early, but Purdue grinded their way back for their 9th win in a row, and they're 17-1. Their only losses to a top-notch team in Iowa State. Kentucky with that comeback. Tennessee led by 17 late in the first half. In the second game in a row, Kentucky's come back and won by 15 points or more. I felt like I gave out Kentucky yesterday, right, when we talked about it on the show, and I'm like, oh, man, they're really not looking too good here. They are pretty okay, no doubt about it, with that nice comeback and win. They were clutch in the end. How about Miami of Ohio? They win again. They're 19-0. They had an incredible game against Buffalo, game of the day. Suter scored 37 points and no assists, but that's not what Suter does. They moved to 19-0 there yesterday with a 105-102 win over Buffalo. Big upsets yesterday, though. Georgia Tech, 17-point dog against NC State was a winner. Northern Illinois, 8.5-point dog beat UMass. Cleveland State, 8.5-point dog over Youngstown. Wofford over Furman as an underdog there, 7.5 points. Kennesaw upset Western Kentucky, and Edwardsville upset Southeast Missouri for some mid-major upsets. Clemson over Miami. The Tigers are 6-0. Nobody even cares about the Clemson Tigers. They're 16-3. The pollsters totally overlooking these guys. They're an experienced team. They played a top 40 schedule and top 20 in effective field goal defense. I don't know why the Tigers aren't getting much look right now. Santa Clara knocked off St. Mary's. Huge win for Santa Clara. That, it's funny. It's January 18th. The Santa Clara win over St. Mary's maybe put them in the NCAA tournament because you're not going to beat Gonzaga, and you got to beat the second best team, no doubt, overall. So Broncos 7-1 in the West Coast Conference. Their only loss in conference play, of course, to Gonzaga, but Santa Clara may have made the tournament yesterday with that win over St. Mary's. That was a brick fest, though, in watching it. Florida over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt loses again. They're going to lose some conference games for sure in the tough ACC. Florida's won 8 of their last 9. They're coming on strong, and they're probably a national championship contender. It's just that the slow start has kind of put them back a little bit, and they had to grow. They had some turnover with the champs, and now they're ready to go. Alabama over Oklahoma. They led by 11 at halftime. Alabama's only 13-5. They played the toughest schedule in the country, riding in the SEC. How about Texas Tech, though, over BYU in that one? Texas Tech does not even play their bench at all, and they're not even shy about it. Guy gets in there for a few minutes to give a guy a blow, but that's all they're doing. They don't have any players that can play off the bench. So good shooting team, though, and they beat BYU. St. John's, the Magic is still there. The Magic is back. Whatever, Coach Pitino beats Villanova and covers the spread there. They've won 4 straight, averaging 88 points. Villanova playing a top 25 schedule. They have 4 losses. My San Diego State Aztecs wins, beats New Mexico 83-79, first place in the Mountain West, 7-0 right now to take the lead over New Mexico and Utah State, which lost to Grand Canyon yesterday, snapped their 8-game winning streak. Grand Canyon wins behind 20 points off the bench from Williams and San Diego State in first place. All right, they held the Lobos scoreless in last minute 11 game for the win. So Greg got us going there with the college basketball, and I did not have a great picks there yesterday on winnable there with the college basketball, but we did have some other winners, 2-1 there. We had premium winners with New York and Phoenix game to go under. Also San Antonio and Minnesota to go over for a 2-1 day. Also 2-1 with the NHL picks. Devils and Carolina under. Vancouver and Edmonton under for 2-1 in our premiums there. But man, college basketball kind of ticked me off there a little bit on our card there. I think it was 4-6. So nobody's happy about that. I'm not happy about that. but I'm going to be firing away a little bit here again today. So why don't you consider getting those picks? Like I said, 2-1 in both the NBA and NHL. So please check me out over at winnable.com/Ramon and use the promo code STEAM to save 20% off all premium pick packages. Hey, thanks to everyone who took advantage yesterday when I said use the promo code LIVE, and some of you did do that. So thanks a lot for getting signed up there with a free 7-day package when you use the promo code LIVE yesterday. That was cool. I didn't have time for the drawing because the show was so long, but many of you, or few of you anyway, took advantage of that. You'll get 7 free days when you use that promo code LIVE yesterday to get 1 free week. No winner of the drawing, but we will have the drawing today. All you have to do is say hello or comment in the chat, and you'll get a free month of subscription when I choose your name at the end of the broadcast with our StreamYard giveaway. And you'll get a month of plays. Hopefully it was still a winning day overall. I just was kind of mad there because of college basketball. My favorite started off so slowly there. Okay, appreciate that. And we'll talk about a little bit more here today with the games here. Get ready to go, but I want to get everyone's comments in here right now with today's. Hey, Ken Mizrahi, Bills got hosed. I think he means not by the Broncos, but by the feels like that's what he's saying, those calls a little bit there as well. Greg says that Stidham hasn't played in 3 years, right? Stidham originally drafted by the Patriots. Wouldn't that be ironic there? And Terrell, hello, there he is, a catch and a tackle, right? Here's the thing I want to say about it. Maybe we'll see a revision of the rules. Every time I've seen that kind of play, they usually give it to the defense. And maybe that's not right, because I think it could be agreed, certainly, that the man is, has the ball in his possession. He's laying flat with his back on the ground. The other player is on top of him. Couldn't the play be dead right there? Why is it a continuation of the play? So maybe we'll see a change in the rule there, because to be honest, and I'm not debating it with Terrell, every time we see it in the NFL, when the swipe comes, it always goes to the defense when he comes away with it. It feels like anyway a little bit. So Broncos have a good defense. They do, but just where were they yesterday? Why did they have such a bad game there yesterday? I mean, I guess you could argue that you're playing Josh Allen. Right, maybe that was it. So, hey, Nasty Nate's here. He's got the Patriots to smash today. Isn't that just so appropriate? I'm probably going to be with Nate in this one for sure. There, I just think the Patriots have had a really strong season. I think a strong program. I think Houston, we'll get to it. But were I surprised that Mike Tomlin got fired? I don't think I was surprised that Mike Tomlin got fired, Ziggy. It's just that I think for me, I'm more surprised that more teams aren't interested in Mike Tomlin. I know what you guys are saying. You told me, hey, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He can't go. No, you work things out. You got to make a trade. You got to trade a player for him. Well, you could pay money too. You could you could pay money to the Steelers to get him out of 1 year of a contract, especially in a decision that feels like the Pittsburgh Steelers said, Mike, we love you. We'd like you to resign because we don't want to fire you. And even Mike thought maybe it was time. And I think he's the best coaching candidate out of all of them right now, actually. Harbaugh, the ink finally dried on the contract there yesterday, right? Good for the Giants. Maybe it will work out. Look, we had a fun time with the Giants, making fun of them a little bit. But remember, you saw the IHOP commercial. Malik Neighbors, basically a superstar, ready to be, if he's not already in this league, with incredible receiver. The waitress making fun of him there. You really helped everybody's fantasy team this year, Malik. Not his fault. He got a big injury that knocked him out all season. Giants have some interesting talent. Harbaugh says, we can make the playoffs. That's what he said yesterday. But to me, I think Tomlin is the guy you want and not Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh brought the Ravens down a little bit. I like both the Harbaugh brothers. He's a fine head coach. He deserves to have another job, and a good job, a historic job. That's what he's proud of with the Giants. But I think Tomlin, what he did with the Steelers over the years, is incredible. Every time, I don't care if the Steelers make the playoffs every time. That's because they have the great leadership. They do more with less. The Steelers really don't go out. They don't get, high price. Yeah, your quarterback Ben made big money and all that, but Tomlin is the guy you want, I think. Not. Well, you can take Harbaugh and it would get a fine option, but Tomlin's the guy I want here in Las Vegas. All right. Nate says then they'll smash the Broncos. They better without that any offense, right? We'll see there. Bo Nix, look, he's a fine quarterback, but he could be accused of managing the offense a little bit, but he does make some good throws now too. Did Duke win? Did Duke win? I think they won. Nuke, oh yeah, he did. He resigned, but Nuke, I think he was nudged a little bit to resign there. A little bit. So, all right, Miami, that was a great game there last night. And, right, but again, you know what? Like I keep talking about Terrell with Diggs, probably not the guy. If you want to have a good image, we know Diggs put himself in trouble there again. So, Greg loves Dalton Connect. The Lakers have good, I don't know what's wrong with this team. Can Miami of Ohio, will they finally get in the top 25? All right, you guys are doing great. And I better start the show, but I'm having such a good time talking sports with you guys. Blake, believe in Drake May. And let's get you guys ready to go and get to a D Money as well in there. Nick Handy, great to see him as always. And Greg says Purdy's overrated and terrible. The Calvin Johnson rule. That's right. Nasty Nate, remember the famous play. And Greg, Atlanta made the decision yesterday. They announced that Kevin Stefanski is the coach. D-Money, yeah, he says it right there. So it does look like Tomlin is going to just take the year off because there is Pittsburgh would have to be compensated there, and if some team is desperate enough, a team that maybe has some wealth, and then a guy who is trying to play pseudo general manager with another general manager who happens to be on TV a lot by the name of Tom Brady. And I think we know that Brady likes Tomlin, so they just wanted to just switch the coaches. That's probably what they should have done. You guys got some great comments in there. Thank you for a great start to the show. I guess I'll get ready to go and get started. I mean, no use to waste because you guys are already talking the big games here today. So let's get it rolling here right now with the Texans and the Patriots. Nate says, is Patriots there and a chance to get back to the AFC Championship game. And wouldn't it be nice there for New England here, 3-point favorite over the Texans? No Nico Collins to me is a huge deal. But the one thing, with it, and look, when Nico's been down, that was the times when the, Texans kind of lost some games too. They really didn't have the best complement of receivers. These guys are nice receivers here, when you're talking about guys in here like Jaden Higgins, who really has emerged here late this season and he had some great games in there too. Kind of when Nico kind of came back, they kind of went away from Higgins. And then, for Christian Kirk and everyone talking about, was that a one-off game a little bit? It was, if you look at his body of work this season, but haven't we always, seen Christian Kirk bounce around a little bit in his career, especially when he had such some pretty great games with the Cardinals and stuff. I think we've always said that this guy is a really great receiver. He just has never broken out or anything and never really emerged as a, because he does strike you as a little bit of a possession receiver. But when you went for 8 for 144 and a touchdown in that playoff game against Pittsburgh and emerged when your team needed you most, Christian Kirk is kind of a spectacular receiver to a certain extent. He just, beset by injuries, moving around, playing on some bad teams, and then you end up here on a Texans team where they really need you. And Christian Kirk, is in position today here for a very, very good game. In fact, if I had one player in this game, and I hope you like the players we talked about. I'm sorry that yesterday that our secret player, Pat Bryant, went down with an injury after catching 3 plays. He beat all his props on the first drive, which was great. But Denver, if he didn't go down there in that game, Pat Bryant was about to have a career game, it feels like, right there. He looked spectacular. And they obviously were having a bit of a epiphany there between him and Knicks there in the game, but it didn't work out in the end. But hey, we're talking about the Texans here. I just know we nailed some of those players there for sure. But so for me, I like Christian Kirk. I think he's my favorite player in this game. For his numbers have come in, I think, kind of low here in this game. Now, look, I'm not taking Houston. I don't think I'm on Houston here. I'm going to be on the over in this game at 40.5. Really concerned about what time. We've seen the weather a little bit. I haven't seen a shot of the stadium if you guys have yet. We know it's going to be some kind of snow, but man, it's just really weird. The temperature's at 35 degrees, and that kind of makes for slushy weather. So I know we're not bothered by snow. We can get out there and do it. And everybody says, what about Stroud? I mean, this guy's from Rancho Cucamonga, California, but yeah, he played at Ohio State. Stroud's been through enough stuff in his life. He's not worried about a little weather, but when you don't play in it very much, and he wears a thing there, so he looks cold and everything. He's got that Tua syndrome a little bit with it's cold here. And, we know when you're quarterback in New England, you're dealing with a little bit of cold already there. But I think in this game, if you just look at the numbers for me, Christian Kirk is the guy that I think is my favorite player in this game today. I also like Xavier Hutchinson, though. I think I'm going to be a little bit neutral on Higgins here, and I think for me, Stroud is a little bit neutral, but I think he can get it to Kirk. I think Kirk can have the big game and keep Houston within striking distance here a little bit. I like both those guys today. Kirk and Hutchinson is kind of my favorite plays. I'm neutral on Dalton Schultz in this game. I'm down on the running game for sure for the Houston Texans with Marks, with Chubb. The Patriots do a pretty good job. They're a top 7 run defense, in my opinion. So we'll see. Marks will get his attempts, but hope he's fully healthy there. I mean, I know it's not anything, nothing with the injury list or anything, but man, he did have a great first game in the postseason. You got Nick Chubb there as well. So for the Patriots here, I really don't see any spectacular matchup for them that I'm really willing to go over the top. I'm certainly neutral enough on these guys that I like everything about the Patriots' chances here, almost down the line with May, with Henderson and Stevenson, even if it's a timeshare split. Does seem like Ramondre is the guy all of a sudden with a little bit hotter hand, maybe getting just a little bit more. And you know what? A lot of that might have to do with Henderson's inexperience a little bit, and he's made a few blunders along the way, but again, I love Henderson's speed always. I'm neutral on Diggs, but I think he's just fine. I'm neutral on Booty, but I think he's just fine. And Demario Douglas as well, I think can also get some action here along with Hunter Henry, but I'm not over the top. I'm not willing to go all out with any props in the game. Again, I'll probably just stick to Kirk and Hutchinson as my favorite players in the props here today. But Patriots defense often overlooked. I think they can corral this team. I mean, everybody. I'm the CJ Stroud guy on this network, right? These guys don't like him at all. Mike, Jeff, Razor, none of these guys believe in CJ Stroud. I'll argue he's still 24. Yes, Drake May is very young too, but you have a battle of good young quarterbacks who are going to be around in the league in a long time. CJ Stroud's still a very young man, almost has to do too much for a team that, they should, they're doing pretty well on offense here. Let's go to the chat and hear from you guys in this one. Great time tonight watching this. The night matchup is our stream game, if you know what I mean, but this one should be pretty awesome as well. Texans have covered their last 5 times as an underdog. Stroud, plenty of experience, 2-3 in the playoffs. D'Amico Ryans, 3-2 in his coaching career as head coach in the playoffs. Houston's been to the playoffs 8 times. They are just 1-6 on the road overall. They also noted yesterday, a lot of people were talking about it, 7-2 in their first playoff game. They've never won this one. They've not been able to get over the hump in their second game game, either the division game or the championship game. So Houston 3-3 ATS as a road underdog this year. They've gone under in 6 of their last 9 games. Patriots 14-1 in their last 15, 12-3 against the spread is probably even more impressive. The last 7 games, Patriots almost 400 yards a game in those games. And Drake May 1-0. We know that's where he's challenged a little bit, but he did win that game last week. But Mike Vrabel, remember, plenty of playoff experience. He's 3-3 in his career, 1-2 against the spread in his home games as a coach. And the Patriots also a pretty good favorite, 9-3 ATS this season. New England 6-2 ATS last 8 games as a home favorite. They've gone over in 9 of their last 12 games. And while I am concerned, I'm still going over as my play. Concerned that, I almost wish it was, 28 degrees and it was going to be officially all snow. Let's see how slick and slippery it is. 35 degrees is the danger zone, in my opinion, as far as the wintry mix, the slush, if you will. And it is supposed to be, 100% chance of precipitation here. And Houston's an indoor team, right? So, all right, Houston's won 3 of the last 4 series games. Texans are just 1-5 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. Their last 6 trips into New England, 3 of the last 4 meetings have been over. I'm actually surprised, and so going over I might be crossing myself here, but the fact that the total's still 40.5, and we have these type of conditions, and the Texans offense, it's kind of anemic in a way. They've done pretty well. I mean, for a team at this level, in a division playoff game, they probably should have a little bit better offense. But they're a little bit challenged, offensively sometimes. So I thought the total would be 38.5 of the way they've been talking about the weather here. So maybe it's not as bad. Let's go to the chat, see what you have. I think I'm on here. The over. I think over is my favorite play in this one, but do think that it's going to be a little bit difficult for the Texans today. Let's go here. Andrew says we got that day game coming up in the NBA. We'll get to it. Twisted's got the Pats money line and the Bears money line. And you know what, Terrell? That's why I think the next team that hires Mike Tomlin, hopefully, and I think he will. I think he's the kind of coach that is ready to go. If you've got a team, and you guys can tell me who they are in the chat. There's several of them. Teams that are playoff ready here, that's where Tomlin needs to go, and maybe even the teams that are ready. Final. The next stop, Tomlin, they need to take him to the Super Bowl again because he deserves it. And I think the Raiders they've always made, and I'm not saying it's the best decision, but they've always made some strange decision, paying money for a coach, drafting punters, things like that. The Raiders do dumb things, and this isn't dumb, but they would have to pay out of pocket a little bit. Ziggy here on the Patriots. I just think you want to get him in here sooner rather than later. Why screw around? Someone's going to pick him up. D-Money here on the under. Greg here, 20-22-20 Patriots. That sounds like actually 22 in a score like that. You're always looking for the unusual scores. 22 is not totally unusual, but it is unusual. But when you see a 22-20, not saying that Greg's not using his ratings or whatever, but that's like a last-second field goal type of thing because a 22 is not a number that you land on by accident. It's more of a number you land on by accident unless you're in that desperation mode. No, I don't think anybody'd be surprised there if Houston does win, Greg. New England is still somewhat inexperienced. You're trying to get May here going in his career. Look, he's obviously going to be very, very good, but Houston comes in here with plenty of experience all around in a way. Probably even more a little bit. Blake's with me on the over here. I think the weather does affect a team. You could say, hey, you just get in there, get quick, but not only the short week. Pats blow them out, says Cash Kane. Also here, Drake may throw an interception today. The New England by 10 here. Public Enemy does like the under in this one. Houston defense could be I think Houston defense is not just I think that they check the box here. That's what they're really rolling in on here. Sprinkle the money line there, says Greg with Houston. You might even just take the money line, right? If you think about it with the playoff games sometimes. But all right, Houston's, like I said, covered 6 of their last 8. They've gone under in 13 of their last 19 here right now. Houston has won, of course, 10 straight. They are 5-1, as I said, done pretty well against New England ATS. New England comes in, having gone over in 5 of their last 6. 11 of the last 15 meetings between these two franchises have gone over long term. And let's see here. We're going to Greenland. Patriots could be just 1 year away. But you know what? When you got this situation, there, Nuke's going with the picks, of course, today. And Kane has a kind of a blowout there. May to get the first touchdown run there as well. T-Bird's here. Hello to T-Bird. And yep, there were definitely some shaky moments in there. Our Tom's good morning. Nasty Nate says it is snowing like crazy all day long. Maybe Nate's celebrating it. Maybe that's what the Patriots need, a little wintry weather to help them just in case. And Vrabel there, I don't know. I mean, if you look at all the coaches in this postseason right now, I want to say hello to Barkover. Nice to see you, Bark. Thank you. Great comment. I don't know if I'm down with it. I think Vrabel's experience here is pretty good, but both guys obviously with some experience. Bobby Mack on the Patriots here. And Terrell says it's slippery, when you're slipping inside and you can't make the adjustment. That's what often happens, and the receiver has the move on you. Robert liking the under here. And could, oh God, hello to Bark again. Could Bill Belichick, if you go from Pete Carroll to Bill Belichick, I'm totally going to give up on this team, totally. I'm not even a Raiders fan, but here in Las Vegas. All right, Patriots Bears back to the Super Bowl. We could end up with a couple different rematches, huh? All right, and Bark says that the easy schedule there for May, and he thinks Texans come in here hot. Today's got the Texans and the Rams in the Super Bowl for a new matchup. You know what I mean? All right. Lots of Patriots support in there, and I think I've caught up to your guys' plays. I'll take the over as my official play, but I think you guys know here. And again, I'm the CJ Stroud apologist here. I'm always rooting for him. I think he's terrific. I wish he had, again, almost like Buffalo a little bit. They don't really have. I think Nico Collins is that receiver. I mean, he, out of the game, of course, here with an injury. And like I said, I think one thing that bothers me about Nico, I mean, he is a no-fear guy, but he's gotten injured so many times already in his young career that I just wonder if he's injury-prone, and that's kind of what keeps the difference between spectacular receivers, because I think Nico is that guy. And if they had him here, I think it would be a big boon to it, but just didn't work out. All right. And Terrell, what were they saying on social media about Jordan Hudson today? If the Patriots win this game, oh God, I forget what it was. It was funny. All right. Stroud would play. I don't know, Mike. That's his image there. All right. Thanks, you guys. I think that's it for the Patriot game. The Patriot games there on Sunday. We'll move to the next one now. Like I said, it's not going to be a long show, but way I talk it is. All right. But I love talking about it with you. We need Greenland very badly. All right. Let's go to the next one here now. The afternoon game will be with you guys today here at for the game this afternoon at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific here on the Sports Money Network. Companion stream coverage with the Rams here, a 4-point favorite over the Bears on the road. What's happened here? Did the Bears did all their players get on the injured list here over the week also? what is going on here with this one with the Bears today? Now I know they have some banged up guys in the receiving core, but they're going to play. Um, we're just relying on the Ram, because of hey, we know we love uh, Stafford here. He's terrific, and yeah, you got some nice receivers there. You got two. I mean, you got Devontae Adams. You've got Puka Nakua. I talk about, players that are receivers that are, A1, right? You don't want to go with, like Buffalo. They didn't have the A1. Well, the Rams got A1 and A1 plus. With Nakua and Adams here, Adams really has found himself. Look, after he left Green Bay, for whatever reason, he couldn't land with two different teams. But once you get a good quarterback with him there, with Stafford here, and look, it should be a great day for these guys. I'm going under in this game, but I think I'm going to take the Bears as well. I mean, plus these points. Look, I think the Rams are set for a good game. The Bears kind of play right into the the Bears defense kind of plays into but I think the Bears offense can excel too. I just think that the cold conditions and the 49 number. Now, look, it's not raining. There has been some talk about precipitation. My forecast doesn't show it. I had people screaming at me last night that this was a weather game. It is a weather game because it's just bitterly cold, but I don't see any real precipitation in this forecast from the AccuWeather sports site. Just cold, 18 degrees. That's cold. I admit that, but I think that is what slows the teams down. Not in terms of bottling them down, but this is still a playoff. Big playoff game, you know what I mean? But 49 just seems a little bit high when the Bears are playing pretty good defense. I do think they will have problems with the receiving core, but I'm not big on the running game for either two teams. I think they probably play into the passing game a little bit, and the teams will know it's coming. They'll be able to pin their ears back a little bit on the pass rush. I think it hurts a guy like Williams more because Stafford, he's able to get the ball away quickly. I don't even mind here. We've seen some other performances, right? We know it's Nakua and Adams, and they maybe, the tight end game too. I think the one guy I do also like here, maybe that I can get on him, is Parkinson a little bit there. I think his prices were okay, or either that or Higbee was a little bit. They got two decent tight ends, though. Stafford gets rid of the ball there, but the Bears defense might be underrated here at this point. The Rams defense, I think they're overrated, right? We talked in the middle of the season, we're like, oh God, the Rams not only got an offense, but they got a defense too. And now all of a sudden, how are we a 4-point favorite when everyone said what happened to the Rams defense for the last few weeks? So I have a hard time figuring out why the Rams come in here as the 4-point favorite on the road here. Again, you don't really get very many favorites in division playoff games, but yeah, you got one here. So I like Nakua, I like Adams, I even like Mumfield in this game. His numbers were basically very achievable, and I think he does get action here. Tutu Atwell could also surprise. We know he has some big play potential. Now he's not really in too much of the rotation, but watch out for Tutu. And then also for the Bears here, Moore has a great matchup here in this one. He should be good to go. He's been bothered a little bit by a knee injury, but he full practice on Friday. He's off. I think he's actually off the injury report. Meanwhile, Odunze was listed as questionable here, but he's probable now with that foot. So these guys are a little bit slowed. I still like them here, but the guy you have to really like today is Luther Burden. This guy's been on fire. He looks like an up-and-coming, a budding star. Odunze is supposed to be that guy. He hasn't quite reached that yet. DJ Moore has been so good in his career. You just you already know he's a top-notch receiver. So I think these receivers are almost on par. Nothing's on par with Puka. And Adams is been a legitimate superstar in the league. But I think the Bears have a good situation here with their receivers in this game. So still under, because I think 49 is too high, but I think the Bears offense can be just fine in this game and certainly keep them within this 4-point spread here today against the Rams, who all of a sudden to me feel overrated as a road favorite. I think they're just banking on the maybe Stafford over Caleb Williams. I was I was in the chat last night on there, and I said, people said, Caleb really is not built for this, or maybe not the guy here. I mean, I'm about to defend this quarterback too with these guys, but I would argue that he's already the best quarterback in Chicago Bears history. Yes, Jay Cutler played, parts of 8 or 9 seasons. So look, I mean, if you really look at the full body of work, probably go with Cutler there a little bit, right? And you could even go back to Jim McMahon. After all, he did lead them to the Super Bowl, but you talk about game managers, and he really just kind of, was kind of the guy that just led that team. They had so many stars, and they had the best defense of all time. So I don't know who else you could go to, really. I mean, I guess you could just go to Sid Luckman. He did go quarterback the Bears to 4 world championships, but we'd have to go back 80 years. So I don't think we're going to do that. Let's talk about modern day here a little bit. You could argue that Mitch Trubisky also had some pretty decent numbers, but this is the man that you want here for the Bears. Justin Fields never materialized, even though he's having a pretty good run of it right now. So I think he's the best quarterback the Bears have ever had. Just needs a little bit more time to get the statistics, but it's already proven himself. Final. So let's see what you guys have here, and I'll read off some of the things that I feel about the game here, because the Rams, they've scored 35 points in 5 of their last 6 games, and that's probably what they're banking on here. They're 9-4 ATS in their last 13, 5-3 ATS as a road favorite. These guys have plenty of experience with Stafford. 6-2 in the postseason for Stafford. McVay 9-5 in the playoffs for McVay. It's a cold night. The Rams, we know we talked about that game last year against the Eagles. The Rams were poised to win that game twice, 3 times in that game. And, it got a little goofy there late in the snow last year. And, hey, the Eagles took advantage and got it done. But 7 of the Rams' last 10 wins were by 14 points. I think if you look at what the Rams have been doing here anyway over the last few weeks, maybe that's also – not last few weeks, but all season. Maybe that's why they're favored over the Bears. The Bears – they didn't back in, man. They've won 8 of 11, 12 of their last 16. Not only that, they're the greatest comeback team of all time. They really are. If you talk about how this team has come back and trailed in the last 2, now I don't mean, I'm just talking in one season. No one's made as many comebacks as these Chicago Bears. They trailed in the last 2 minutes of the game in 7 of their wins this season. That's clutch. That's what you want from NFL from a quarterback like Caleb Williams. Who else are you going to point to there? So Williams is clutch, and he can move, and he can run, and he can get the job done. And he can cement himself as a legend here with the Bears, with a victory in this game tonight at home against an indoor team like the Rams. The Bears here, when they're forcing turnovers, they are deadly, and you've already seen the chat chime in with the interception props. But the Bears' win last week was their first playoff win in 16 years. They're 7-3 ATS as an underdog this year, 7-2 straight up at home. Last 3 games, though, Chicago did give up an average of 450 yards. So Bears have won 3 of the last 4. Rams have lost 3 of the last 4 in the series. The Rams have won 3 of the last 4 in the series. They've lost, however, their last 4 visits into Soldier Field. Last time the Rams won here in Chicago was 23 years ago. And, they don't play frequently, but, you could say once out of every about 4 years or so. Obviously, when you talk about lost their last 4 visits in there, and that's 23 years. So even it's a little longer than that. Remember, the NFL kind of schedules according to the standings. So let's go to your comments, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about the games. But now I want to hear from you and see what the chat has to say in this one. T-Bird plus money on Stapper and throw an interception and he's going to take Sweat to record a sack. Barco. I want to Barco Verber. It's tough to say, so I want to say Barco. I hope that's okay. If it's not, please let me know, Barco. But I'm sure I'm excited. I see the cute pup in the picture, so I know it's Barco, and that's maybe the pup's name. There. If I'm the Titans, sign up for Jordan Hudson. Yeah, let's go. Bears money line. And Rishi's putting it all on the line, if you will. He's putting his balls on the table. Rams first half here for Ziggy. Nuke's got more INTs. Oh, Nuke loves pain, doesn't he? Jordy got the Rams here in this one. Public Enemy Rams money line and the under. Look, I think I'm a Rams fan over a Bears fan a little bit. I think just because they're from LA, and as a kid, I had some Rams stuff too. I kind of have always liked the Rams. I don't know if I'm such a big Bears fan, but I think it's going to be tough tonight. And Stafford throw a couple of picks here. Robert on the Bears as well. Could it be Caleb and May? Blake says Bears and the under and a little two-teamer. Hello to Jimbo in the chat today. And Bark also making fun of Caleb. Here it was again. They were on the show last night. And I had to correct them. Well, Caleb Williams paints his nails. No, he doesn't. He doesn't paint his nails. His mom paints his nails. That's why he has painted nails, because his mom is what do they call? What are those people? They're nail technicians. Nail technicians. His mom's a nail technician. All right. If your dad was a doctor, he'd operate on you. All right. A little chill. It's a chilly there. And no precipitation, right, Terrell? I think that's the big difference here. That's what makes it 49. I mean, come on. If there was some snow in this thing, even though we say snow's not a big deal, probably wouldn't be 49. I think that's a miss. It's a deal. Anybody remember the Raiders and the Patriots? Huh? Robert on the over here, and Bark says Bears about to get exposed in this one. Bears do force turnover. In their wins here. Now they are a dog, but in the Bears wins this season, they're plus 22 in the turnover department when they win. And we'll have some rematch games here. Bears to be underdogs in all the games here. And then Bark talking about those other games. And Bark says, don't forget, you got that extra. All the records are set now because of the extra game. It's a huge advantage. Okay, Bears are 12 equals 1. I don't know what that means. The Cutler, a Nashville legend, right? Cutler's had better success in the reality show game. Barks got Rams by 46 in one of the biggest blowouts in championship game history. All right. Mitch, MVP Mitch, we call him. Could we have we still got a ways to go. And could Badgett come here? Remember when we were calling for Badgett to be the quarterback over Justin Fields? And now Justin Fields is kind of, turned things around a little bit. Great comebacks by this Bears team. Funny, you'd think maybe if the Bears were within a score in the final 2 minutes, you might want to take the Bears. All right. Good morning to Damon. He's got the Bears here in this one. And our Tom's liking the Rams here still with that offense there. And look, to me, what has happened to the Rams defense, I would say, mid-season, I bought in too, just like everybody was talking about. Look at this Rams defense. They've got great players. Man, Jared Verse is incredible. This guy is still young, and, he's a defensive player of the year candidate in the next few years, every year right now. I think he's an incredible player. And he had the big special teams block. Remember? He blocked the field goal. So Rams 2-8 against spread in their last road games here in Bark. It's true. That's what his mom does. That's why he paints his nails. If your mom wanted to paint your nails a little bit, you'd probably do it, right? How many of you have daughters? How many men out there in the chat have daughters that painted their nails? Okay, men get their nails painted by their young 4-year-old daughter. Oh, maybe a little older, maybe what 7, 8, 9 when they start, or 10 when they start getting into the makeup game a little bit. Men, dads have always gotten their nails painted forever here. Come on. All right. Weather it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold outside. Seattle, they look great. I mean, come on. Can Seattle finally get that Super Bowl? The one thing when McDaniels was running off that field, waving to the crowd, Darnold too, it had a Super Bowl team feel in Seattle there. And I'm glad it worked out for Darnold. I'm glad he made it through the game there. It looks like, that's the type of injury I think going forward he'll be just fine. All right. There we go. Mark, thank you. All right. And Twisted's had it done too as well. That's right, 9 Legacy. But okay, so I'm defending Williams like I always have against the guys on the show, but it is a little extreme, right? I could see where because we know now men paint their black is a really popular color with rock stars and some of the imagery today, the dark imagery, of people and their what they like, with some of the mystery, and I'm trying to think of horror tales, not horror, but the mythical, right? But for Caleb to have like Chicago Bears and pinstripes and maybe Cubs on the one, get a little extreme, get a little crazy there. But men are painting their nails at record numbers these days. I don't know if you guys know. Maybe you guys just don't hang out with cool people like I do. All right. All right. Rams have struggled to play in Chicago. This goes back forever, no doubt about it. Okay. I'm on the under here. Hey, I'm giving out both. I think I feel like the Bears here for sure. I mean, I like the Bears. Goth. Thank you, Blake. That was the word I'm looking for there. And will we see running backs and tight ends? If that's the case, what do you think? I mean, I certainly think Swift and Monangai are almost comparable to Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. I hope that Kyren Williams backers don't get because Corum, if he gets a hot hand, if I'm not saying that Williams won't, but he might steal some of the carries. Okay, you guys are done. I'm done as well with the football. We got our picks in. Enjoy the games and join us tonight at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, and hopefully it's a better game than the other game. But we did have some fun there with Jeff. I felt bad there the way the game ended because we had to come on the air and the game was still going and it was in the balance. I mean, there was no telling which team was going to win there at that point, and the way the calls went down a little bit. So felt a little bit bad there for the Bills. They did everything they could to win. They did everything they needed to do, and they just couldn't come away. Thank you, everybody. We got to get to basketball here right now. We just spent an hour on the NFL, as much deserved. And it's been a good postseason. 2 games, yeah. My Chargers were crappy, and that game last night was crappy. But I think if you took the other games so far, it's been pretty good in the NFL playoffs, especially that first game yesterday too. Okay, let's go to the NBA. We got 6 games, kind of anticlimactic. And yes, the first game begins here in 90 minutes. We're going to London as the one thing here about the London game, they just played in Germany. This is the first time ever I think they played in 2 different cities on the trip. Usually they play one game, take a night off, play in the same arena there. And so I think for me that kind of shows, look, the last game was about the Magic. They were in Germany. They've got 3 German players, including 2 big, 2 of the biggest stars of basketball in Germany. And it was cool. Saw Dirk there. I'm so old. Terrell, did you watch the beginning of the game? Detlef Schrempf. And so it was Dirk and Detlef Schrempf. Before Dirk, there was Detlef Schrempf. I mean, nobody here. I mean, only Terrell and I probably know, but Detlef Schrempf was pretty good, man. Pretty good player. Just when international players were kind of becoming stars in the league a little bit, or showing off here and getting to the NBA, Detlef Schrempf was incredible. Dirk's Hall of Famer. But so we had those guys, and then it was all about the Wagner brothers. They spoke on the thing. I don't know which one of them spoke, but he spoke eloquently in German. I think it was eloquent. Sounded pretty good. So I think that game was all about the Magic. And I think when you're talking about a trip here, I'm more willing to take the points in this one with Memphis in this game. I think that game would kind of, and I portrayed it as such, right? This game would be more about the Magic. And this one, I'd rather take the points here. A little bit of travel. Yeah, it's been 2 days, so no big deal going from, Germany to the UK. It's just like a trip barely across, not even across the country here. So no problem there. I just feel like, when you're away, it's a little bit of wear and tear. You got a little bit of revenge on your mind as well. And I'd rather take 4 points in this game here with the Memphis Grizzlies in this one in London here. Are they playing? Let me see here. I want to dial it up here on my notes here. Are they playing this one at the O2, I would imagine, today. At the O2 Arena here in London. Now, the last game there played 3 days ago in Germany was 118-111. Magic got the win there in that one, and the cover. They're favored by 5.5, and now you're favored down here by 4. So no problem. I'd rather just take some points here. I think it's even a money line possibility here for sure in this game. Orlando, despite getting the win, they're still just 6-14 ATS in their last 20 games overall. They've lost 7 of the last 9 matchups still to the Memphis Grizzlies, although they've covered 4 out of the last 6. Usually they're an underdog to Memphis. Memphis has not been doing great, 2-7 against the spread, straight up and against the spread in their last 9 games. They've had some issues here for sure right now, and some of them have to do with injury, some have to do with attitude. It feels like no Ja Morant here still in this one. There was hope that maybe he can make one. I swear, I mean, hey, he had a lovely. I'm sorry, Ja Morant is in this game, in this one, but he did have a lovely outfit there in the last one, didn't he? With that feathery, what was that? Feathery blue and white thing. It just looked lovely there. Couldn't get me to wear that unless you painted my nails with it. But Ja Morant is in, and I think that is a big difference here as well. I know we make fun of Ja, and maybe we don't want Ja in the lineup, but Aldama questionable here. Magic, Jet Howard out. Castleton out. Suggs out. They're missing a few pieces here for this matchup. So taking the Grizzlies here. Let's go to the chat, see what you guys have in this one. This one goes off here at Amazon Prime at noon Eastern and 9 Pacific time. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys have in this one today. Sorry, Bark. Yeah, he is playing. I just slip of the tongue there because he usually isn't playing. Ziggy's going under here. Here's Public Enemy. He likes Magic money line and the over. I think I prefer the under. The first game went under this total at they played to 229. The total was 227.5. This one's higher at 230-ish right now. 231.5. 231. I think it's down to a little bit right now. And Greg says Magic just beat them by 6 last week. In fact, they beat them by 7 3 days ago. It was in Germany. So they're kind of on a road trip together, Greg. Robert here says Grizzlies +4. And Jim says Detlef. Yeah, you don't forget. The time with the Sonics as well, Pacers and the Sonics there. And Detlef Schrempf, no doubt, he could play. He could fill it up, couldn't he? He was a scorer for sure. Detlef would cook against these guys, no doubt about it. I mean, his game would totally fit right now into the current game, maybe even better because you'd rely on him there. Thank you, T-Bird. Really appreciate those to pump it up here. And can Bane, he looked motivated in that game. I think the Grizzlies were motivated. I think the Magic were motivated. It seemed like a Magic home game. because of the players of the German players on the Magic. I think. Oh, there's the scores, by the way. Oh, let me look at these here. There's the soccer scores, by the way. Parma and 0-0. Valencia 1-0 over Getafe. Wolves and Newcastle. I'm watching that one right now. No score, 72nd minute. Fiorentina over Bologna 2-0. Strasbourg leading Mets in that game 2-0. Halftime, Stuttgart and Berlin, no score. Atletico and Alabs, no score. Coming up, Nantes and Paris. Paris, man, what a game they had against PSG. Rennes and Le Havre. Villa there and taking on Everton. They were talking Villa and their legends there today. Augsburg and Freiburg, more soccer matches still to come. And then we've got the NBA and let's see, Magic Grizzlies, Florida Atlantic and Temple, Penn State, Maryland. There's Torino and Roma, Celta Vigo and Vallecano. And then we got all the other games here today. So you can always look at you don't have to look at my ugly mug. You can check out some of the lines and the scores on our live scoreboard behind me when my head's not in the way there. And look, and even the live odds there. All right. The original Sabonis. All right. And man, Memphis money line first quarter, a lean to the Grizzlies here for Blake T. Bird says first half Grizzlies 6 points there. I gotta blow my nose, you guys. Stand by. All right, we're warming things up here in the satellite studios, and I can't handle it. Okay, let's see. Sean Kemp, man, the Sonics got screwed, right? The NBA's got to go back to Seattle soon. It's getting long. It's getting to be long, man. And Ray Allen Moore, Sonics greats. How about Sean Kemp? How about Jack Sikma as well? There's Terrell talking about the Sonics when they had to play the Bulls. Okay, that's it. There in that one, I'm gonna take the Grizzlies definitely to return the favor here today. I'll take them on the money line even, I think. All right, let's go now. Pelicans and Rockets, two struggling teams, believe it or not. Well, Houston's had some woes here all of a sudden. They kind of looking human. Pelicans did win a couple nights ago, although they came back with a loss to Indy. The next night, they've lost 3 of their last 4. Houston, though, has been a cover disaster here, really, of late. Even the games they're winning, they're not covering, so they're underachieving, that's for sure. But New Orleans comes in here having lost 12 of their last 14, just 2-8 ATS in their last 10 games overall. New Orleans just 1-4 in their last 5 games against Houston, kind of a, in a way, a rival if you think about the proximity. But Houston just 2-4 straight up in their last 6, 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games. Houston's gone under in 8 of their last 9. New Orleans gone under in 6 of their last 9, although the series is 5-1 to the over in the last 6 meetings overall here. Houston kind of plays to the level of their competition, it seems like, doesn't it? Here, and I don't know what the situation has been here. The team just has not played very well here of late. I mean, they were lost to Portland, lost to Sacramento, beat the Bulls, didn't cover. Of course, they got blown out by OKC, but OKC was a little bit angry because they've lost a few games. So Herb Jones is out. Alvarado's still out of this game. Tari Eason is questionable here still for Houston. Big spread, 13.5. But, you'd think maybe a blowout here, but Houston just doesn't seem, they can't stand to be big favorites, it feels like a little bit. So let's see what you have in this one between the Pelicans and Houston here today. We know it's a big spread, but can they get the money here in this one? Let's hear from the chat. See what you guys think with the Pels and the Rockets. Pelicans are 18-21 against the spread as an underdog. Strangely enough, 3-0 as a favorite. Houston 17-19 against the spread as a favorite. They've been favored in all but 3 games. Let's go to the chat here in this one. Greg Elo, Bulls win. Yeah, you guys are hot on the Sonics. Does anybody own any Sonic? I had a Sonics, but I don't know where it is now. I used to have Sonics gear. Pelicans for Ziggy. And Greg says Houston to smack them down here. But I think that's a cover by Pelicans, actually, the way Greg portrays it. And Terrell here. Oh, brother. Public Enemy there with Pelicans. Robert with the Pelicans as well. And under here for Robert. And let's see here. Poor Houston. Poor Houston. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Ziggy. Yeah, not 130.5. Well, you got to take the Rockets in that one. I mean, the Pelicans in that one, getting 130, right? There we go. A few more comments from you. Pelicans on the spread. Magic on the spread. Fernando's going to lay it here with Houston. And Trey Murphy for a double-double. All right, yeah, I'm going to take the Pelicans here in this one. I think Houston kind of, they get caught up for whatever reason. Right now, they're not really showing the Pelicans are not looking good. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't seem like there's any end in sight to kind of solve this situation. The players are good. The young players are good. I like the young players, but the Pelicans just aren't good enough right now, and really struggling here at basically just past the halfway point of the season. 10-34, Rockets 24 and 24 and 15, I think, here right now. So Greg says Houston beats Chicago by 5. All right. Give me the Pels here in this one. Let's keep it moving here right now with the Nets and the Bulls. In this one, you got the Bulls favored by 6. And the total here is 222.5. It might be 6.5 here by now. Brooklyn just snapped their losing streak finally with a win here over the Bulls. Last time out, they just played here 2 nights ago. It was 112-109. Brooklyn got the win at home. They were 1.5 point favorites in that one. Now they're getting the points here against Chicago today. And we do have some news in this game today, as it looks like finally here, Giddey is nearing his return. It's not going to happen today, but it's getting close here for Giddey. Patrick Williams is questionable. For Brooklyn, Michael Porter Jr. is out. That has to be a big factor for most. He averages nearly 26 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. Drake Powell out for the Nets, and Zaire Williams also out of this game. So a few missing parts here for Brooklyn. They got the win there, obviously, in the last game, so good on them. But now they're on the road here against a Chicago team that comes in. They had, right now, one of the worst favorites in the league, the Chicago Bulls. 4-14-1 against the spread as a favorite this season for Chicago. So Brooklyn's covered. Brooklyn's won and covered 6 of the last 8 meetings overall against the Bulls. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone under. Brooklyn's gone under in 5 of their last 6 games. Chicago's gone under in 5 of their last 7 overall. Chicago just 2-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 games. So Brooklyn may have found somebody they can compete with here. It feels like a little bit. Maybe the revenge is obviously on Chicago's side right here, but like I said, they just don't play very well against Brooklyn. It's not like Brooklyn was any good before, right? This has been the same, feels like the same Chicago and the same Brooklyn. Why wouldn't Brooklyn be able to hang in this one if they usually do hang with them? Even when the Bulls did win here at home last season against Brooklyn, the second meeting, it was 116-110 right here, kind of very similar to this this spread right here. So, yeah, Brooklyn's bad enough. They could get blown out here, but it is an opponent they usually play pretty well against, semi-frequent opponent. Let's go to the chat in this one, see what you have here with Fernando. Says he's on the Nets to take the points. And I don't think Byron Scott's walking through that door anytime soon. Ziggy's got the under here. Greg Gibson has his numbers. Robert likes the over here. 9 Legacy says, even without MPJ, still taking Brooklyn here. Look, Chicago, they don't have a lot of fortitude, it seems like, to blow anybody out with this group here. You got Buzelis in there, and, Jones and Okoro. VAR here on the over. And Greg says he loves Chicago getting points, but what if they're favored by 6? Fernando's on the over here. Robert on the Nets as well. And Terrell says the Bulls game it could be empty. Bad call, right? You should have moved the start. Should have probably moved the start time, huh? Good point, Terrell. Good point. Be dead in there. That's going to help. That helps a road team, doesn't it? Public enemy on the Bulls. And NYC Bar says, Ramon, you going to get to this college basketball card anytime soon? We've got you covered. I got 4 games here I'm going to look at here in just a few minutes. Brooklyn might win. Blake's on the Nets. I'll take the Nets here in this one as well. Give me the Nets plus the points against the Bulls. Yeah, not only that, it'd be one thing if the Bulls were actually pretty good, right? They could actually get to it's snowing in Chicago. It's snowing in Columbus. Columbus, Georgia? Yeah, I heard it was getting pretty cold down south, man. Okay, let's go next tier 2. The Hornets take it on the Nuggets here in this one. We've got Charlotte. We got Charlotte here on the road, taking on the Nuggets here in this one. Look at the spread. Okay, look, I know we got no Jokic. We all know that. He's been out here for a while right now. Diabate, questionable here. Christian Braun, still questionable. But so, yeah, we've been dealing with this situation with no Nikola Jokic. But has it really mattered it matters long term for the Nuggets, right? But look at what the Nuggets have done without Jokic. If anything, it's just business as usual. Maybe the spreads are lower, so that makes it maybe easier to cover the spread or win the games because the Nuggets just keep on winning right now. They've won 4 straight games coming into this one. They've won 6 of their last 7. How long has Jokic been out? 7 games, 8 games? Covered 5 of those 7 games. They've won 4 of their last 5 at home. Charlotte's lost 4 of their last 6, but Charlotte's a pretty good cover. 10-4 against the spread in their last 14 games for the Charlotte Hornets. Also, they're 4-1 against the spread against these Denver Nuggets. But they're not getting any points here. They're getting points, but you know what I mean. They're not even getting points. They're only a 1-point favorite. They're getting point, or it's a pick 'em here at some of the books. So the Hornets are the popular team in the betting public here a little bit today. Now, look, some of that could be due to the fact that both teams played yesterday, but it's Charlotte coming in from Golden State. They got blown out last night by 20 points as a 7.5-point dog. Now they're coming into Denver. And Denver's been covering numbers. Sure, they didn't cover against Washington last night. They did beat them. They had to work kind of hard, actually, to win that game, 121-115. The game was relatively close, and then Denver outscored the Wizards by 9 points in the fourth quarter to overtake Washington. They had to work hard to get the win, but they still got the win. They were favored by 10.5. This team's not really favored by 10.5. They just beat, for example, New Orleans as a 2.5-point favorite. They beat them by 6. So I don't know. I know the Hornets are really popular. They're the side of the Sharps for sure, of the Charlotte Hornets in this one. I don't think I can do it. Not with Charlotte coming in off of a game. Yeah, they got blown out. Yeah, they also did save their players a little bit at the end there for this game. The Nuggets had to work hard last night, but I'm taking the Nuggets here. I'll take my lumps. If the Sharps win, they get my money again here. They're all over the Hornets, but I'm taking the Nuggets here in this one today. Good numbers for Charlotte. Like I said, hey, they're money makers, man. 24-18 ATS, 21-14 I'm sorry, 24 and 18 ATS, 21 and 14 ATS as a dog for the Charlotte Hornets. That's getting it done right there. 60% ATS as a dog, 13 and 10 ATS on the road. As well. Denver, they're a moneymaker, 25 and 17 ATS. Most of it comes as a road dog, sometimes a little bit as a road favorite. They're just 10 and 8 against the spread at home, 16 and 14 against the spread as a favorite. But they've been covering a few here of late for sure. 4 straight wins. Before the Washington game, like I said, which they did not cover, they beat up on some bad teams. Milwaukee, New Orleans, and Dallas. Won and covered all 3. What do those teams have in common with the Hornets? They're not very good. So Hornets, though, are a good, like I said, a good spread team, but they've actually failed a couple here of late. Losing to Golden State, lost to the Clippers, and lost to the Pacers. I mentioned those first 2 because they were underdogs and did not cover. Let's go to the chat here right now in this one, Houston and the Nuggets. I got to fix that line here too. It's a minimum. I'll put Nuggets
Final.
1, but there's half the books are about pick'em, and they opened as high as 3.5 in this game. Yeah, there's some injuries here for sure. Not only for the Nuggets, I read to you Christian Braun. He's still questionable. Valanciunas has been out since the first of the year. So they're missing some guys, but these guys have kind of been out for a little bit here. Hornets, pretty much clean bill of health, other than Diabate. So let's go to the chat here in this one. And the total has gone up as well. 227.5 at circa. We'll leave it. Here we go, chat. Let's go here with this one. And they got, well, you know what? Yeah. Nine Legacy, you watched it, right? It looked like big time matchup issues. We already know that Curry likes to beat Charlotte too, doesn't he? Let's see here. Spread's a little shaky. Charlotte beat the Lakers. Robert's on the Nugs. Farmer Jake, Denver and under our Thompson Nuggets here to win. And Greg tucking them. That's what a lot of sharps are doing, Greg. And I'm not calling everybody agreeing with me square, but we might be on the square side a little bit because there's no doubt the move is on Charlotte. And I don't think anybody in their right mind could come up with a reasoning for it other than what, like Greg said, a bounce back, a rebound. I don't think you could argue that this team is playing any better than the Nuggets right now, even without Jokic. They're playing pretty darn good. So, okay, let's see here. What does that mean, Toucan? At the local sports book, entered Stevenson rushing twice instead of rushing and then receiving. Trying to figure that out, Toucan. Ziggy on the Hornets against the spread. Bar on the Nuggets here. Fernando Nuggets. And Greg says Vegas knows something, right? This is one of those that the Sharps are betting the Hornets. There's no doubt about it. Fernando on the under. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Getting to the late games here right now at 3:10, at 6:10, 9:10 Eastern, 6:10 Pacific. After football, pretty much, kind of. Looks to be going a little bit, but Portland taking on the Kings. Couple of they're rivals in a way because they're both bad, and the Kings can't really claim the Warriors as a rival, even though they do. But Kings here have won 4 straight. Break them up, man. The Kings are about to turn around here and improve on this 12-30 record with a 4-game winning streak. Wins over. Listen to who they beat too: Houston, Lakers, the Knicks. Man, the Kings are going all the way. They beat the Wizards too. Covered 7.5 at home. The Kings did. This is the best the Kings have played all season right now. So Portland just better watch out in this one. Hey, we were on Portland against the Lakers last night. They're on the back-to-back. The Kings here are the rested team. Portland beat the Lakers last night. Impressively, I was on Portland, 132-116. They beat Atlanta before that at home. Now they're coming down here to take on the Kings. Portland has won 3 straight meetings against these Kings. In fact, they played back in December a couple of times on a home and home, and Portland won them both, including here at Sacramento. 98-93 is a 4.5-point favorite in that one. The Kings are now favored, though. Portland, 18-10 against the spread as an underdog, one of the best records as a dog, but they are just 10-11 against the spread on the road. The Kings have been a pretty bad cover this year, 17-25. I will say this, though. They are 3-1 straight up as a favorite here. So I think you can look at that. They're also 3-1 to the over as a favorite. But 224, 229, that's an achievable number. Now, I know the Portland's been going under here of late, but I think with these two teams, I'm gonna take the over here as my morning steam play, but I think you can hear who I like, and I need some. There's not a lot of games out there. I need some premiums, man. I think who I think's gonna win. I think, but I'll take the over here as my play. Now, Portland's gone under in 12 of their last 16, and Sacramento's gone under in 5 of their last 7. But like I said, Sacramento, it's only 4 games, but still 3-1 to the over as a favorite. They've won 3 of those 4 games. I think it makes sense here at 229 to go over, despite what we've seen a little bit from these two teams. Sacramento's, 4-game winning streak. They've covered 5 straight at home, 5 of their last 6 overall. We know Portland's been pretty good too. They were on a win streak also for losing to the Knicks and the Warriors. Still, they've won 7 of their last 9. This is a good game. This is a good game. 7 of their last 9, 7-2 against the spread in those games as well. So Portland comes in here playing pretty well, but I just think that the Kings right now, the beam's been lit for like a week. All right, and they might light it again. Let's go to the chat in this one. Thank you, guys. All right, here we go. Sancho's here today. He's got his picks. Thank you to Sancho. Blazers for VAR. Ziggy's going under, though, here in this one. Greg's got his pick there. 9 Legacy. Yeah, Sacramento on a little bit of a bounce here. Good for them. It's tough when you're the Kings, right? Not a great ownership group. It's tough. One thing will never change. The Sacramento Kings fans will never turn on this franchise. They know what they have here. And could we see? I don't want to say it, but could the Padres end up in Sacramento? Oh man, what a nightmare. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I think I understood it too, Ken. Yeah. Thank you for saying it there, right? A little bit. Now, I will say this: anybody, taking advantage. People always say, "Man, the book banned me." Oh, this book banned me. Yeah, if you're taking advantage of, but like you said, too, Ken, you just do it subtly. All of a sudden, right? You got a bad line. Somebody's got a fat finger, and you punch in. You're a player who your average unit size is $25 or $50 or something like that, and then you pop in 500 on them, and you haven't put a $500 bet or $1,000 bet in on something in your life or something like that. Oh, the book banned. Yeah, because you took it. Just take it now. Take your middles, take your arbitrage. Did I just hear the steam machine go off? Is this thing working on this slow day? Penn State just got steamed in the game against Maryland. That's our first steam of the show, isn't it? Maryland was a 2.5-point favorite here, but Penn State just took our first. I'll look back. Was I sleeping? Did it go off? Did anybody hear it? Right now it's down to a 1.5-point favorite there as Penn State just took the money against Maryland here in a game in 1 hour from now. So let me run through and make sure I didn't miss any steam here a little bit. Before we went on the air, Florida Atlantic and Temple got steamed to the over there. We're going to preview that one. So got steamed to the over, was 151. Now it's 152.5. And let me see if there are any others here. UTSA took some steam today in their matchup. Memphis was favored by about 21.5, but it's down to 20 or so here. UTSA took the steam here just as we were coming on the air. And okay, let me go through the plays here with you guys though a little bit. Kings beat the Knicks pretty good. Sub 500 team gets hot and suddenly becomes a favorite. That's a good point, no doubt. Terrell for pro bettors here, but I don't know. I think there's something to this situation here tonight. And Nets and Nuggets there. What did I take in the Nets game? I took the Brooklyn Nets in the game there plus the points, and then in the Nuggets game, I took the Nuggets. All right. And Sabonis for a double-double, right? We talk about old players, right? What about Sabonis' dad, the flat-footed Russian? But nobody could stop him. He was just so big, right? Remember when Shaq would go up against him? There we go. Public Enemy on the Kings. I'm moving closer to that. Also putting these picks online. All of our chat every day wrapped up by Chat GPT, where everybody's pick is kind of listed. I just grab the copy and paste the transcript. So I have to say it, first of all, so I don't want to miss any of your picks. But then Chat GPT, it was great the way it kind of lists all the guys' plays. And we're going to make put it on a website, you guys, and the plays are going to be in there for future reference a little bit. And you're going to see the plays in the chat, in chat form, with Chat GP kind of rewriting it a little bit. So it's pretty cool. I've been messing around with it, try to get it just perfect. Obviously it's all about the prompt when it comes to Chat GPT, and I'm not just going to copy and paste. You can't copy, the chat, but I know we're on the record here when you see it on all the shows, but it's hard if you want to go back and really look at something. I mean, I know sometimes I do it. I don't know if you guys do, but I got to look sometimes. Oh, what did I have in that game? Sometimes I say, and then I got to go back and check it out. So I think we're going to try to publish the plays of everybody, and I think that's going to be really cool. And still kind of working on it right now with how to make it, but it comes out looking pretty cool. Everybody's, as long as I say it, and then at the end it has everybody's plays in there, so it's really cool. All right, Greg here, Robert on the Kings. All right.
Critical noted final.
Nuggets here for Fernando, the Modesto Padres. Hey, hello to Sandy Brammer. Nice to see you, Sandy. Great to have you. Good to see you again in there. Yeah, when was last time the Sacramento Kings were a favorite in back-to-back games? Oh, my God, they're probably going to lose. You're right, Terrell. Okay. And, yeah, Greg, Sabonis, Portland his entire career. Okay. Yes, that's a great point, Mike. Sabonis was already it was actually well past his prime when he came to the NBA, because he played his whole career in Russia. Again, he kind of came when the foreign players were coming to the United States finally and playing in the NBA. Okay, one more here tonight. Let's go to it and talk about the Raptors and the Lakers here. Now, okay, here we go. Raptors favored by 1.5, maybe 2. Yes, the Lakers appear broken here all of a sudden, and I couldn't figure. The sharps must be right with the Lakers, so I think I just gotta agree with it and deal with it here, that the Lakers are in trouble, I guess, in this game. Now, Luka is questionable here. He's more. It's going to be close, I think. It might even be 50-50 here right now. Jackson Hayes questionable. DeAndre Ayton questionable as well. For the Raptors, Jacoby Walters questionable. Quickly questionable. Battle is questionable. RJ Barrett is out. So there's some injuries there on the Raptors. It's just that nobody trusts these Lakers anymore all of a sudden. It's just like a faucet. You just turn them on and turn them off. The Lakers, last I remember, they were, taking care of business here in some of the games. But, man, they've fallen to 24-16 right now. Toronto's 25-18 coming in. Toronto, just 9-16, though, as a favorite this year for the Toronto Raptors. That would have me a little bit concerned. But Toronto's lost the last 6 times they've played the Lakers, although they've covered 13 of the last 16 against them. They've usually been getting enough points. Lakers are just 1-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games. Toronto's gone under in 12 of their last 18, and they've gone under in 9 of their last 11 on the road. 7 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams have gone over. We know the Lakers are a massive over team at home this year, 15-4 to the over. But Toronto's 7-13 to the under on the road, and this number looks like an under number more than an over number. In fact, it's down to 222.5 here right now. So, yeah, that's a little bit tough there. This one keeps going down, but it just seems like, we're in for a lower scoring game with these two. Let's go to the chat and see what you have with the Lakers and Toronto here today. The teams did play their first meeting already, and Lakers won it as a 2.5-point dog on the road, 123-100 early December. Let's go to the chat here, get the comments, and right, there was a different era, Terrell, when you could call them the Queens. And hey, Terrell knows the Sacramento and the Kings had a nice little rivalry going. Remember big shot Bob hitting that big shot, big shot Bob Ori. Here in Toronto for Greg, Ziggy likes the over in this one. Kobe had his 81. I remember where I was in that. I remember where I was when I was watching that game. Raptors here for Robert. Raptors for 9 Legacy. I mean, I'm just going to take the Raptors because everyone else is. I know that's a bad, maybe a bad look, maybe a bad handicap on my part. I don't know what's wrong with the Lakers here. I mean, okay, yeah, Luka, if he doesn't play, I guess that's a problem. And, and why they point, why coach called these guys out. He obviously saw something and he knows it's obviously right. You got to give Redick some credit for knowing. Thank you, Ziggy. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the NBA chat. For me, I'm going with the Toronto Raptors. I guess the Lakers are broken. I believe everybody else. I don't want to believe it. I would think that the Lakers could handle a road game against Toronto, a similar record team, if you will, a team that the Lakers have beaten for 6 straight times. Yes, they just meet twice a year, but all right, that's it for the NBA. Let's go to college ball next and get these games. I got 4 games to look at on our abbreviated card. And we just talked about that steam that came in there. Florida Atlantic and Temple will start us off here with the action on Sunday here with the Owl. Oh, I like the Owls in this one. How about you guys? Again, didn't we say no team in the same conference should be able to have the same nickname? And it's not like they're the Bulldogs or something, or the Tigers. These are the Owls against the Owls. How does that even happen? All right. Here we go with the Florida Atlantic. They're coming in here with a 12-6 record. Temple's 11-6. Both teams are playing pretty well here right now. You got Florida Atlantic coming in on a 3-game winning streak right now with wins over UAB, Memphis, and Wichita. They covered them all. FAU's, again, one of the best cover teams in the country right now is FAU. 12-4 ATS. 9-2 against the spread as a favorite. I love, to me, when teams cover spreads as a favorite in any sport, spread sports, those are the teams that are the good teams, right? They put the throttle down, or in some cases, close games, covering as a favorite. That's what you like to see. Temple here, meanwhile, 7-8-1 ATS, 3-2 against the spread as an underdog. Temple is 3-7 to the under in their last 10 games overall, but FAU 6-4 ATS, 6-4 to the over in their last 10. These two teams did meet last season. It was FAU winning 83-81 here in Philly as a 4.5-point favorite. Temple got the money actually in that game. Florida Atlantic is covered now 8 of their last 9 overall. They've won 4 out of their last. They've won this winning streak here right now and won 4 out of their last 5. Temple's 5-2 ATS in their last 7. They've won 7 of their last 8 and won 6 straight games at home as well. And they're an underdog here to this good Florida Atlantic team. But Temple had a winning streak before they lost last time out. They had wins over Princeton, Charlotte, UTSA. It was a 6-game winning streak, actually, before they lost to Memphis last time out. 55-53 on the road, but they still got the money. All right, we go to the chat here. Well, FAU's gone over in 6 of their last 9. Temple's gone under in 5 of their last 6. So this seems like a pretty good game here, top of the hour, with the Owls against the Owls. Who? All right. Look, I still think FAU is a better team here. I don't know if I necessarily want to lay it on the road, but I'm going to give me FAU. Widely reported steam was on FAU here, and I'm going to take them actually on the road in this one. Over Temple, lay a couple of points. Lay a few points. I think it's up to 3. Is it 3.5 now? Yeah. Let me update the line. It's clearly 3.5 here. So, hey, I'm not getting the best of it. I'm laying a little tax, so it's a free play on the morning steam show. Here we go with Public Enemy is going to be on. FAU Twisted likes the over, Greg says. Final. 75-72 FAU for Twisted. Greg says he thinks the Owls should be favored. The Temple Owls should be favored. Oh, stop it, Terrell. Stop it. All right. FAU on the spread. Temple's going to rock them here. Greg says Blake likes Temple as well. Hi, Blake. I know I said hello already, but we always need you in here. All right, that's it. I'll take FAU in this one, lay the points at Temple. Next up, looking at Wichita State here, taking on South Florida. This feels like a pretty decent game, actually. Got Wichita coming in here 10-8. South Florida comes in here 11-6. South Florida, 3-game winning streak here coming into this one with wins over North Texas, Tulsa, and ECU last time out. For Wichita here, coming in, they are 4-2 against the spread as a road underdog. USF 4-7 against the spread as a favorite. Wichita is 2-4 to the under as a road underdog as well here. The widely reported steam did come in on South Florida. They were a 6.5-point favorite. This line, I typed these in so long ago. They're now 9.5. South Florida here. Are you kidding me? Let me look at the injury. I better look at the injury report, huh? And the total here is down to 157. All right, cluster injuries. It looks like here for Wichita. Oh, they've had guys just lose. They've lost traction here this month with some guys. They lost a couple of guys red-shirted here a few weeks ago as well. For South Florida, Caleb Sanders is out. Xavier Brown is out as well. So they're missing a few pieces. I don't know what's going on here with this increased spread. Maybe you guys can help me with that because it seems kind of, I don't know. I don't know why the line has gone up here by to 9.5. So these two teams did meet last season in the conference tournament. Wichita did win it 73-68 as a 3-point favorite. They also won at USF here 75-70, but USF did win at Wichita in the first meeting last year. They met 3 times. Wichita won and covered 2 of them. USF won and covered its game on the road. I got to take Wichita here in this one. I'll take the points with the Shockers, the Wheat Shockers as we used to call them. And I'll take Wichita State. This total did move much higher from, not much higher, 155, I think, to 157 or 158 here right now. So I'm going to take Wichita State in this one. Let's see what you guys have in the chat. And it's going to be Twisted there. Oh, it said, yeah, 9. Over for VAR. And Greg Gibson here, 82.74. That would be an under. That would be Wichita. Also, let's see your public enemy on Wichita. All right. Hope I picked some good games out today. I know there's some other ones. And Tulsa and UAB here right now with you have UAB favoring this one by 2, maybe 1.5. Total here, maybe 158, maybe 157 here today as we're kind of looking at the American here. Obviously, we just looked at the Wichita. I will mention, since we've kind of looked at all these games in the American today, Florida Atlantic is in first place, a 4-1 record. South Florida, 3-1. Memphis 3-1, Temple 3-1, Tulane 3-1, UAB 3-2. It's easy to see why we're looking at these teams here. Wichita is 2-3, actually coming in. Tulsa 2-2, but good games in the American. It's always competitive. UAB here with back-to-back wins over ECU and Tulane. They also beat USF on the road 109-106 in double overtime a couple of weeks back. But it's been Tulsa here. They're 3-0 against the spread as an underdog this season, are the Golden Hurricane. They're also 10-5 ATS overall. UAB 10-7 against the spread, just 6-4 straight up at home. These two teams here, Tulsa is an over team this season, 11-4 to the over, 8-2 to the over in their last 10, and 5-2 to the over on the road. UAB's an under, 7-10 to the under, 4-6 to the under at home. I will say this though about Tulsa, and maybe why I might prefer here. Let me just see what you guys have, and then I'll make my call. But even though Tulsa's been a kind of a big over team, they are 1-2 to the under as a dog, and UAB's 4-8 to the under as a favorite. So I think I'd probably kind of tend to lean that way in this matchup with Tulsa and UAB. But let's see what you guys have. Also, 5 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under. Tulsa here lost at home to UAB 78-68 last year. And then the other meeting last year was UAB 83-51. They smacked them down at home. UAB's won 15 of their last 20 at home. They've won 11 of 15 here right now as part of their 12-6 record. Tulsa's 14-3. They've got a good record here, but they just don't play very well against this club. They've failed to cover in 6 straight against the Blazers. Tulsa's won 11 of their last 13 and covered 9 of their last 13 overall. Tulsa has gone over, as I said, in a lot of these games, but UAB's been a solid under, and this series goes under here. I'm going to go ahead here. Oh, let me go to the chat, see what you guys have, and then I'll pick. And it's going to be under here for Twisted. VAR is on UAB. Greg here says he's right on the spread pretty much. Hello to Wine Time in the chat today. Hi, Wine Time. Under here for Blake. UAB controls the pace, says Twisted, and it goes under. That's what I think. That's what I think too. Robert, UAB, Moneyline. I like both those plays. I'm going to do a double play. I know I didn't hit my double play yesterday. We split it, but give me UAB and the under in this one for the double play. All right. We need a graphic. We need some music for the double play. One more here late night. Let's go to the West Coast Conference here with Washington State taking on USF. West Coast Conference action here on the Sunday. You've got right now, like I said, the big game there for Santa Clara passing up St. Mary's. Washington State comes in here 3-3 in conference play. USF comes in 4-3. Good matchup here. Only game of the day. Saw Gonzaga there without Graham Ike go as a late scratch. I still covered the spread there last night. For Washington here, they're 8-11 straight up coming in. 12-8 are the Dons coming into this one. Washington State loses up 2 in a row here to Gonzaga, and to St. Mary's for USF. They're off a loss to St. Mary's. They did beat Pepperdine, also beat Portland and USD in conference play. Washington State's just 3-6 ATS as an underdog, although they are 4-3 ATS on the road. Meanwhile, for San Francisco, just 4-7 against the spread at home. They're often favored, but not quite getting it done. Washington State 3-6 to the under as an underdog here in this one. And not only that, you look at these two teams overall. Washington State 4-8 to the under in their last 12 overall, 1-4 to the under their last 5 games on the road. San Francisco's won 17 of their last 20 games at home. They're 17-3 in their last 20 overall right now, 12-8 at home, 17-3 in their last 20, dating back to last year. All right, let me see what you got. Then the segment's over. And then there's 3 hockey games and the show's over. So thank you, everybody, for joining me here on the Morning Steam. Let's go to the chat with VAR is on the over here. Greg says he likes Washington State there and the under, and Art Tumps is liking the under here in this one as well. Look, that's what I think. I mean, you got a Washington State team that, like I said, 3-6 as an underdog, and the fact that they're 3-6 against the spread as an underdog, I think that kind of just shows how the tempo might go. I know the Sharps might prefer the over here, but I'm going to have to take the under with Washington State and USF today. All right, I think that's it for the hoop. 3 games on the ice tonight. The show will be over. Thank you, Pierre, for joining me. Let's get it going with the Lightning taking on the Stars here. Oh, boy, 2 teams going in opposite directions. What's happened, Stars? This team is coming back down to earth. They're still 27-12-9, but Tampa Bay has been super hot. They finally had that winning streak, snapped, however, last time out with the loss to St. Louis. St. Louis, they're the streak breakers a little bit. But still here in this one, you got to look, Tampa Bay, they still won 11 in a row before that. They've also won 13 of the last 18 meetings with the Dallas Stars. They meet just twice a year. Tampa Bay has won 7 of their last 8 on the road. They've also won 8 of the last 11 years here in Dallas. And not only that, the Stars are just 2-9 straight up in their last 11 games overall, and 2-4 straight up at home. So, look, maybe this is a spot. Maybe Dallas can get it back here, but you're going up against a Tampa Bay team that is starting to get a lot of looks here after that winning streak as maybe a team that, we know they've got a championship pedigree, and they're obviously playing a little bit out of their minds right now here again and moving up in the standings. Hey, we talked about that Penn State and Maryland, and I said go over. Well, the steam's coming in on the under right now in Penn State and Maryland. It was 147.5. Steam coming in here, and it's down to 146 at circa. Steam on the under, Penn State and Maryland. All right, go with the hockey here, you guys. See what you have in this one with the hot Lightning and the cold Stars, believe it or not. Tampa Bay on the road, they're at 5 3/4 units so far this season. Dallas at home, they're down 1.5 units actually here, despite a 12-6-3 record. Can Tampa Bay keep it up? Is this a Stanley Cup preview possibly? Here we go, 3-2 Tampa. And that was our money that moved the line, said 9 Legacy. Tampa Bay on the under here. Maybe, hey, Philly Eagle Flyer. Hello, Philly Eagle Flyer. Draw right now, but leaning Lightning in the over. Public Enemy on the Lightning. Stars are just not shining lately. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to take the Lightning. I'm kind of a believer, actually, in the Lightning here long term. I don't know if the odds have gotten away from them in the futures markets, but a lot of people are talking about them right now. Here doesn't seem. Look, they've got a strong enough goalie in Vasilevsky. Ottinger is confirmed here in this game. for the Stars. He's 16-9-4 with a 2.74 goals against and a 90% save percentage. All right, I think that does it for that one. Let's move on to the next one here with the Shantors. What's a Shantor? The Senators here. I type so fast, and I don't know. I often do type Sean. Usually, I catch it and I fix it. For some reason, my fingers always say Sean. It always types in Sean first. Maybe I'm a little old and goofy, but I always fix it. That time I missed it. Senators on the road here, taking on the Red Wings with James Reimer expected in there against Gibby tonight. The Red Wings are a minus 135-ish favorite here in this one, and the total, 6.5 under here with the. It's gone down a little bit here. I would say that we're seeing maybe no more than $1.30 for the Red Wings right now. Maybe Ottawa is the move here. Interestingly enough. But should they be? Ottawa coming here 22-19-5. The Red Wings are 29-16-4. Detroit just playing as well as they have all season long. They've had a great season. We know that. Pardon me. Detroit coming in here off of a win over those mighty Sharks. They did lose to a hot Boston team, but before that, wins over Vancouver, Montreal, and Carolina. Detroit is 7-2-1 in their last 10. They're 17-8 at home, 13-9 as a favorite here this season. And I want to hear from you guys in the chat on this one. Ottawa's lost 5 of their last 7 overall, but strangely enough, they've won 13 out of the last 17 meetings against the Red Wings. Red Wings, however, have won 5 of their last 6 and 7 of their last 8 at home. 5 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams have gone under. Detroit is 7-15 to the under as a favorite. Ottawa's a bit of an over team for sure. 28-19 to the over. They're also 15-8 to the over on the road. However, just 7-5 to the over as an underdog. And like I said, Detroit strong to the under as a favorite. So I got to take the under here in this one at 6.5. Yesterday, I know that we did crush it, right, on the morning steam yesterday with the hockey picks. Was talking to about the guys. I was on the show there. We hit the first 5 games in a row of the card, including all the day games or early afternoon games. We had Wild and Sabres over. We had Rangers and Flyers over. We had the Islanders and Flames over. Remember I said 3 games, 3 overs, although it will say the Islanders and Flames went up to 6. Most spots, there was still some 5.5 juice. We were talking 5.5 on the show, though, there. And also, we had the winner with the Florida Panthers on the road against the Capitals. We had Columbus at Pittsburgh for a winner, Toronto and Memphis for a winner here on the show. We also had the Boston Bruins for a winner on the show. Also, Vegas Golden Knights puck line, Edmonton puck line yesterday basically went on that 13-game card 10-3. So hope that was okay for you. I'll read you off the losers if you want. Not only 10-3, but we also went 2-1 with the sports money premium. So we were having a pretty good day there in hockey. Let's keep it up. I'll take the under in this one. Let me tout myself a little bit there. And let's see what you guys have in the chat, though. All right. And let's see here. Greg. He's got it 4-3 for his cousin Gibson. Red Wings here for Public Enemy. Wings on the trifecta over there for Public Enemy. Greg thinks it might go overtime. And Stars Wild. Hello do we do today in the chat. 9 Legacy Red Wings money line. Mike says you got to lean to the Wings here. Senators off overtime, off and on the back-to-back in that game. Yeah, that was a rugged game against Montreal. Was it 5-5 after 2 periods, and then no one scored in the third? Is that right? We were on the football broadcast there at the time, so I definitely have to think that is a solid take. All right, and Philly Flyers said they'll lose their legs in the third. One more on the ice and the show is over. How about the Oilers? Hey, we took them yesterday on that puck line there and scored with Edmonton. But like I said, St. Louis, they're the streak killers, man. They beat Carolina. They beat Tampa Bay. Remember, they've also beaten Colorado. For Edmonton here, they're coming in off of a 6-0 win yesterday over Vancouver. Poor Vancouver right now. So Edmonton is on the back-to-back here, but they're still 11-6 straight up at home. And St. Louis just 7-12 on the road here. Edmonton has defeated St. Louis in 5 of the last 7 meetings here in Alberta. Also, St. Louis has lost 5 straight on the road, lost 4 of the last 6 games to Edmonton overall. The two teams did play one meeting already this season. St. Louis won it 3-2 at home. There, Edmonton's gone over in 4 of their last 5 at home and 6 of their last 9 games overall, although 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under. So, hey, I'm looking to sweep the board here after a big night last night, going 10-3, picking one in every game here. But let's see how you guys have it with this one in the chat here tonight. I think this one's going to be a little tougher for Edmonton, actually. And I might take the Blues, but let's see how you have it in the chat. Maybe I'll just take the total. Okay. Public Enemy's on the Blues. Greg likes the Oil here. And 9 Legacy likes the Blues. I'm taking the dog here tonight. Give me St. Louis to win in this one at plus $1.40 or so. The Philly Eagle Flyer likes the Oilers and the team total over. Blues been playing good D those last 2 games. Yeah, no doubt. Beat Carolina 3-0, beat Tampa 3-2. So good little run here for the Blues. Look, they're not toast. I mean, they're 19, 21, and 8 right now. Yeah, do they have work to do here? Yeah. They're also the biggest money burner in the Central Division this season, particularly on the road, where they are down 7 units so far this season. But Edmonton, they're down 3.5 units at home, often favored pretty heavy there. So, all right, I'll take St. Louis in this one. I think the show is over. All right, head on over to winnable.com. And hey, like I said, I had some nice winners there yesterday over at winnable.com. So why not take advantage here and use the promo code STEAM to save 20% off those premium pick packages. Like I said, 2-1 in the NBA, 2-1 in the NHL yesterday. Yeah, 4-6 on 10 college games. That's supposed to be my best sport there, but let me see if I can't show up here at Winnable and take a look there. All right, there we go. Let's take a look at some of these plays over here at Winnable. There's the NBA yesterday. There's the 2-1. Let me see, is it up here on screen there? Yeah, there's the 2-1 record there yesterday over at Winnable right there. All right, and let's see what else there. We had the hockey. 2-1 there as well. Shows you the winners here, shows you the losers as well. And then we have the basketball, so I don't want to get into it. No, I did not open my tennis card at the Australian Open, with the college basketball Saturday. I'm a one-man operation here, okay? But whenever I get around to capping, you get the first picks from me over at Sports Money Premiums over at Winnable. I had Nebraska there over Northwestern, Central Florida and Arizona under. Let's see, Wofford I had against Furman, and the over there with Eastern Shore and Coppin. And then some of the other days we had the picks up there as well. Definitely had some tennis winners over the last week, so can't wait to get in some tennis tonight. But check me out over at winnable.com. You see the plays coming your way every day. At least get the free picks over there at Winnable. Oh, just want to take a look at golf here real quick for the matchups for the tournament today as we get ready for the final round. And hopefully you're riding with some of my guys. Again, I don't really give out just picks. I send out my best golfers kind of every week. And, I bet these guys here for sure. And, like I said, right here, if you look at it, outright winners, top 5s, top 10s, top 20s, round leaders, and head-to-head matchups. So I just stick with the guys I like that week. I mean, I'm a horses for courses kind of guy. I like to see which guys are good in certain statistics on certain courses and things like that. Greens in regulation, strokes gained, things like that. I really love, the golf odds site. I love that site very much. And man, I can spend hours on that site. So this week I had McIntyre as 22-1, and I put him in odds order. I don't really put him in the order of, but I had McIntyre. He obviously not getting it done here this week. He's tied for 20 though. But look at this. I've got Corey Connors. He's currently tied for 8th. 4 strokes back. Nothing's impossible today. Aaron Ryan there. I don't think he'd be much. Chris Gotterup. I've got him at 65-1 here. He is 2 strokes back right now of Davis Riley here, definitely within striking distance. Also, I have take a look here at the Englishman at 125-1, John Perry. And I've got him at 125-1, John Perry, just 3 strokes back right now. So I'm alive. I've also already sprinkled the board. I didn't send it out. I don't always want to do that, but I did take a piece of Kevin Roy at 22-1 after round 1 here, because I already saw that Goddard was going to be live here, and I liked Roy's position. And I'm going to add one more, I think, today. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Davis Riley. I don't know if the price is there, but man, I'd like to score with one of these chaps here today. I've got 3 guys in the top 8 out of my 7 plays. So why don't you subscribe to these are the free picks too. So make sure you're subscribing to me over at winnable.com. Okay, it should be a good finish at the Sony Open. And not only that, it's golf in prime time. So you're going to watch it there. Probably the tournament ends there at the end of the football games there. So, all right, appreciate that. Go to winnable.com/Ramon. That's part of the free package, but you can get my premiums there by saving 20%. Let's do the drawing here in just a moment. But first, let's hear from Mikey Money.
Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
All right, we'll do the drawing right now. A little bit of breaking news just in. Kawhi Leonard will miss his game on Monday. His knee is bothering him, and that's a fact. When Kawhi's knee is bothering him, he's got a knee problem his whole life now, and Kawhi will miss the Monday game against the Wizards there. All right. Hey, Spenny. There's Spenny. Great job last night, Spenny. Hope you can join us today, but if not, great seeing you there and great picks last night. We were Spenny and I were right on. It felt like maybe I was just copying Spenny, but you did a great job. Mike went under in that last game. Hello to Wager Detective as well. Great job there yesterday, Wager Detective, there on the Pub Hub. Good job there, Wager Detective. I watched you, and I watched all the crew, the old crew over there yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch as much in the regular season because on Sundays I'm doing my own coverage on a few different channels. So it was great to watch the old Pub Hub there yesterday with all the guys that I love, all the cappers that I love. Gorky was in there, and Billy Briz. I loved watching all those guys yesterday. That was a great show. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Goddard up there, and also Roy, also for Mike. Yep. And I think, look, I have to find one more. I might have to take the leader there just to get all of my money back on all of the guys. But then if I get one of those others, look, I've got $1,000 winner in there, or what is it, $1,200 winner there with one of those guys. So, all right. Thank you to Robert. Fairmores, if you're FMZ, if you're watching right now, man, it's great. I hope you didn't bail out on me while I was selling my picks. FM, look at me now. What a big success I've gone on to be here, right? I mean, you helped cultivate this whole thing where I said, one day, I'm going to make it as a big time tout. And here I am making dozens of dollars a day selling my picks on Winnable. And I'm not going back to work, brother. If we can make it work here, hopefully the winners come out as well. Great to see you, man. We did the Texans Pats at the beginning of the show, but since you're here, I do like these Patriots here. I'm a big CJ Stroud fan here, but there's just a little too much to ask on the road here in the freezing cold, whatever the weather's going to be, the slushy slush there. And FM, man, I hearken back to the days. You know what? We were ahead of our time here. If you weren't going to go on to be a huge success in the real estate game, we could have made our a newsletter with our 900 numbers. I talk about them all the time on this show. We were running the 900 numbers. Hey, we didn't make any money, but I just remember when you'd say, you'd do the intro and say, hey, we got, man, you just did it so smooth, of course. You got that radio voice. And you'd say, now here comes Ramon Scott. And I'd do the pick. And man, we had a great time. Much love to you and your family as well. Your wife and mom and dad and sister as well. I miss you guys tremendously. Thank you for stopping by. Well, please tune in tonight if you can when we do a live stream on this channel. And we watch the games live. And we're going to be doing the Bears game tonight with some guys that I've hooked up with here starting this channel, the Sports Money Network. So man, I hope you're still in the chat listening to this. I was talking a little bit too long there, but yeah, I'm on the Patriots and I did take the over here. I know the weather is going to be a little bit frightful, but at 40.5, I was surprised it wasn't 38.5. All right. Thanks, FM, man. I'd talk to you longer here. I'd bring you on the goddamn air right now. Okay, there it is. It's proof. My partner, look, FM, you went on to great success. You knew, and again, I've done all my stuff with my East County with all my prep stuff. And yeah, I've had those other careers from, from our days, FM, of being at trophies. Ahead of our time, right? I refer back to these. I bore these people on this show, FM, with all of my regaling my stories from trophies. When the satellite dishes were real and the feeds would go out. Remember on Sundays, the feed would go out for 10 minutes with the sunspots. And then, of course, at Sports City and my poker dealing and all of that too. But man, what a you're really taking me back here right now. Boring all the 62 viewers that we have right now here on the Sports Money Network. FM. Let me see here. Okay, Abel, you got it, my man. I'll put you on there. FM, you get a free subscription if you want to my plays here. FM, use the promo code COMP over at winnable.com and you get free lifetime subscription. Nobody else use it. I look at all the entries anyways. I control it, but FM gets all my picks by using the promo code COMP over at winnable.com/Ramon. And so what FM's talking about here, and I talked about it with these guys before, FM, is when we had the Cardinal line, the gold sheet, and I said, let's start our own. And we had our own newsletter with those 900 numbers. And man, this is all your fault that I'm sitting here right now in an empty room talking to 65 people online trying to hawk my picks at $3 a pop. But hey, you know what? It's working, and I'm not going back into the real world. Spenny, thank you for your plays as well. Thank you so much to FM. I'd love to get him on the show here and reminisce along the airwaves one time. And FM liking the under, though, in the game with the Texans and the Pats. He's going against me, just like he always did there. Also, Spenny likes Henderson to rushing ladder there up to 50 yards. Also, he likes Schultz and Hutchinson. I said I did give out my favorite players, Spenny, in the games here in the game today. In the early game, I like Kirk. I like Hutchinson as well, but I think Kirk is my favorite player in the games today, in the early game anyway. And Sandy said Tom Brady got decked by that lady in the commercial. And he's my hype man. He's my hype man. And, FM, what I've built here is a great little community with my partners on this channel. I've been on a few other channels, and I'm on some other channels as well. But this is kind of my home with these guys a little bit. But I make appearances all over these YouTube shows, and this is really what's propelled me into doing this again, rather than hanging out in casinos dealing cards all day. This is way more fun, and even though I never really meet these people in person, I don't want to meet them because these guys are all so awesome to me, and your heroes are always a disappointment. So, all right. There, Spinny, looking at the props. The show's almost over, and I'm about to cry with FM here, visiting me here on the show right now, partnering up with me back in the days. There, Broncos should sign Tom Brady. How about Phillip Rivers, FM? They laughed at me with Phillip Rivers. They could also do Joe Flacco, but we know that Coach Sean's not going to go for that. He'll just stick with our guy. Even the horse racing, right? And we do some work with a friend of ours, Razor Sharp Picks, who runs a horse racing. Pretty much out of these, other than the big ones like Racing Form and some of the other sites, he runs a great horse racing channel. And I wish I had more time to do more work with him, because horse racing is still a great game and we love it. Remember going out to Del Mar with our friend, and we'd always have a great time at the races. So, oh man, thanks for the great memories today. You really made my morning here. My 2.5 hour show every day here with these guys. You mentioned, the smartest Andy. I don't know about that, but all these people know me as hardworking. And again, these people come to this show because of the the honesty that I portray anyway. I don't claim to be a know-it-all, but I just end up knowing it all because all I do is sit here and watch these games all day here in the satellite studios in Las Vegas. So next time you're here, give me a buzz. All right, go over to Winnable. Let's do the drawing for FM. Maybe he'll win, even though he's already got the free subscription. FM gets to use the promo code COMP, C-O-M-P, to get all my picks there. All right. And for everybody else. So let's do the drawing right now, see who wins. Jake, FM, Jim, Mike, Wine Time, Nick Handy, Parma Jake, Mike Humphrey, Jim Deweiger, NYC Bar Twisted. And the winner is Nuke Worker. Nuke Worker doesn't need my picks. He just bets on the interceptions every week. But Nuke, it's great to have you as the winner. You do so much for me every day, making sure I remind everybody to like, share, and subscribe. And we love to have when Nuke gets on the air with us. FM will put you on, man. Come on by tonight at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. We'll put you on the air, and you can talk with me. And you can tell all my friends and viewers how great I was before we got old. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for a great show. Thank you to Nuke. Nuke, if you do want the package, you're welcome here. I'll give Nuke a lifetime subscription as well for everything he's done for me. And I went 4-6 in college basketball yesterday. I wasn't happy about that, but it went 2-1 in the NBA, 2-1 in the NHL. Thanks again, everybody, especially my right-hand man for years, the man who I looked up to, actually, and we did some crazy things there. And I'm still doing some crazy things today, and it's still all your fault, FM. All right. It's going to do it here for the Morning Steam. We're back tomorrow, 7 days a week, brother. Morning Steam right here on the Sports Money Network. Mikey Money will get you going here tonight. Also want to mention more news here, but hey, UFC starts this week. We'll be here with our live coverage stream here on Saturday for the first UFC on Paramount. But today I believe at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, I'll be joined by VB. We'll do the first show. VB doesn't know it's right in the middle of the NFL playoffs, and he can only get his guests at that time. So if you want to tune in on the tape delay, everyone, VB MMA picks here this week. It will be live at 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific, right in the middle of the first NFL game. But we'll preview the card for this week with Gaethje versus Pimblett. in the first UFC card on Paramount Plus. Here this week, we'll preview 2 other fights as well, so make sure you join us for that. We'll get rolling with our for VB and I doing our 4th year basically of show as well. All right, that's going to do it here for the morning steam. We'll catch you tonight on the live stream, 6:30 Eastern and 3:30 Pacific. For the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott. So long.
That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money.